Do you need an affordable fisheye lens for your aps-c size camera? Well, today we're going to be talking about the Rokinon 8mm fisheye. So the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens has an equivalent of 8mm for aps-c sensor size cameras. It has 10 elements in 7 groups with one aspherical lens. It has an aperture range of f3.5 to f22, which has a manual aperture right there also. It weighs about 1 pound or 443 grams. It's about 3 inches long, which is pretty short, which is really nice. Be able to fit in your bag really nicely like that. It has a minimum focusing distance of 1 foot, and its field of view is 180 degrees diagonal. So some pros about the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens is that it is relatively cheap. I mean, it's only pretty much $260 for a beautiful lens like this. For the Canon lens, it's over $1,000, so it's really not reasonable for me because I'm an amateur photographer and I really need to be on budget because I don't really have that much money to spend because I'm trying to save up to buy a full frame camera. But also some pros about this are that it is a beautiful lens. It takes stunning images. It has really, really good build quality. I mean, the whole beautiful aspect of this lens is that it's 8mm and that it's got really nice metal mounts. I mean, it's beautiful. It's got 6 aperture blades. I mean, it's got a manual focus and it's got manual aperture, which I don't know. Manual aperture is pretty good for me, but the manual focus is not. But the aspherical lens is beautiful. It really is stunning. It takes really good pictures. It is a reasonably fast lens. I mean, you can use it somewhat at dusk, but not really at nighttime. It's not really that type of lens. You can with a flash or an external flash, but 3.5 is not really meant for nighttime shots. It's usually meant for daytime. I usually use it stopped down to about 5.6 or about f8 because it's a lot easier to focus like that and it's a lot more simple. Some cons about the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens would be that manual focus is sometimes a burden when shooting in street. I mean, that's mainly what my type of photography is. I'd like to do street photography. If Rokinon didn't put the focusing distance in feet, I probably wouldn't be able to do it because it has feet and meters, which I'm really grateful that they actually put feet on there because we don't do the metric system here in the US. But that is one thing that I don't really like. I mean, you can zoom in on your camera with the button on the top right. I don't know what it's called, but the live view mode. It's easier to do that way. I'm not going to lie because I was doing that for video mode when I was doing test shots for this video. But you can do that. It is sometimes a burden though. Also, another thing that I don't really like about the lens is that it is not recognizable on your Canon camera. The reason I say that is because since it has no chip or anything in the lens, it is basically a lens that is just, your camera doesn't even know what's there at the time when the lens is on the camera. For all it knows, it could be a hot dog just strapped to the front of the camera. It doesn't know what's there. It's just a big piece of glass basically on the front of your camera. I mean, there's no chip. You can get a AF confirmation chip and install it on there. It's pretty easy. I saw a guy on YouTube do it. But I was thinking about doing that, but I don't know if I will. But that's another thing that it gripes me. I mean, I know it's a cheaper lens, but I just feel like they should be able to have some kind of confirmation, not really confirmation, but some kind of electronics that go back to the lens to tell you, because you can't even see what aperture it is on the camera because it doesn't have any electronics in the lens at all. Also, metering through the lens is sometimes a burden because you have to stop down you have to underexpose one stop of light because the lens has a wide aspherical front element, so it lets in more light, meaning you have to stop down your lens. You have to stop down your exposure because it lets in more light. This pretty much happens every single time you take a picture. I don't have a problem with it, honestly. It's alright to me. For a cheap lens like this, it still takes beautiful images, but you still have to underexpose one stop of light. You can always fix that in Lightroom anyway, though. But just making sure you have to compensate your exposure whenever you take pictures with this lens. Also, another thing that I don't really like is that the lens hood is not removable. As you can see, it does have a tulip lens hood just like that, right there. I know that this lens is made by multiple manufacturers like Bauer and Samyang and Opteka. They all have the same exact lens they mass produce. But the Bauer one, I believe you can take the lens hood off just like any other L lens. You can take the lens hood right off, which is really nice to me. Same thing talking about the lens hood is that this lens is not practical for full frame cameras. The reason I say that is because of the tulip lens hood. When shooting through the lens on a full frame, you get the entire tulip onto the image, which is not really the best looking thing. I mean, I'm probably going to use it when I get a full frame camera, but I'll probably crop it to make it look like a panorama or something, but that's just me. I don't really like the effect of having a tulip inside of my picture. That's just me. Some people may like that effect. I mean, I'm not downing it or anything, but it's just to let you guys know that you cannot take the lens hood off, and that's why I wouldn't recommend it for a full frame user. They do have a 15mm lens for full frame, just for full frame, where the lens hood is there, but it's just a longer lens, so it's better for full frame cameras. Also, you have to shoot in manual. You have to shoot in manual when you're using this lens, because you have to underexpose one stop of light, and you have to basically change your aperture by yourself on the lens. You have to focus by yourself, so it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to using this lens. I mean, it is a great lens. I love the lens to death, but using the mode M mode is not a problem to me, but some people that might be a problem, so that's why I mentioned it as a con. Also, the aperture adjustment when in video is rather noisy. I mean, as you can hear, it does make relatively noise, but I heard that you can get the same exact lens from Rokinon declicked for video, which is a really nice feature that they have. Also, I heard that Joe told me that you can mod this lens yourself to make it so it doesn't click, which is pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't try it myself because I wouldn't want to wreck the lens, obviously, but some people might try that. And also, one last thing about this lens is that it is a little bit heavy. I mean, it is 1 pound or around 1 pound. It's 443 grams, which is not really that heavy, but it's compared to like a Nifty 50 is like a brick. Would I recommend the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens? It depends on who is asking the question, because if you're shooting from a full frame camera, I'm going to say no, because shooting an 8mm on a full frame body is probably not the best idea for me. I mean, I don't really like the effect that it gives on a full frame body with an 8mm. I mean, the 15mm that Rokinon sells has a really nice effect. That's what I would buy if I had a full frame, but not on a full frame with an 8mm. I mean, it gives you that picture that has just a circle and then it has the picture on the middle. I mean, that's not really what I like. I mean, it's really cut off from the entire image. That's why I wouldn't use a full frame with the Rokinon 8mm, but the 15mm definitely. But I would also recommend this lens because it is a relatively cheap lens. I mean, it's only $260, which is a phenomenal price for this beautifully built lens. It is a stunning lens. I mean, just the way it looks and the way it performs, I mean, it's really nice. It also takes beautiful images and video. And also the really great thing is that it does do video. I mean, even if you do put the lens on and you put it into video mode, you have to hit the live view button because it will not recognize the lens. Once again, because I said it does not have a electronic chip in the lens at all. There's no electronics in the chip in the lens itself. It's just basically a piece of just a heavy block of glass. That's all it is, strapped to the front of your camera that you have to focus manually and do the aperture manually. But I would really recommend this lens for people that are in M mode, basically the manual mode. For people that aren't really advanced, I would say, in photography, I would still recommend this to you just to learn. It's a really great lens. I mean, I'm used to using manual apertures from using film cameras and manual SLRs from back in the 60s, but I love manual apertures because they're a lot easier to me. I mean, that's just what I'm used to because I'm using old film SLRs. But manual focus is not really that hard to me. I mean, it's pretty easy to manual focus because it has the meters and feet distance on the front of the lens. I would also definitely recommend this lens for people that are skate enthusiasts that take video and do pictures for skate photography. This is a great lens for that. I mean, the wide angle effect that you get. I mean, I know skaters love the fisheye look. I do too. That's the reason why I got into photography, because I loved skateboarding photography so much. But this is a great lens to do that with. It's got a really nice wide angle effect. Really great for video. I've seen a lot of videos of skateboarding with this. And it's a really good lens for that. And one last thing for the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens is that, is it worth the cash? I'm going to go out and flat out and say yes, I believe it is definitely worth the cash, because it is a beautiful lens, has beautiful optics, gives you stunning images and stunning video quality. The lens is really great build quality. I mean, it is a cheaper lens. Like I said, that I can't say that enough, that it is a cheaper lens. I mean, it's around $260 to $300 depending on where you buy it. But we'll put a link in the description where you can get it from Amazon from a cheaper price. But it is a great lens, a great beginner fisheye lens, a great fisheye lens in general. I mean, I love this lens to death. It is my favorite lens today. I mean, it's a great lens. It's got great optics, and it's just the most beautiful lens that I've ever shot, basically, other than a few L lenses that Joe let me use when he rented them. I really recommend this lens, though, and I would definitely say it is definitely worth the cash. So that was my review of the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a really fun time doing this video. Make sure to check out the footage at the end of this and some pictures that I'll be putting there. Hope you guys enjoy that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more stuff coming in the future. Make sure to stay tuned to the website. We got a lot more content coming up, like the DC galleries and stuff like that. More to come from this lens also, like a lot of pictures and footage. Make sure you drop us a comment down below of what's your favorite type of lens, if it's fisheye or if it's wide-angle zoom or if it's a telephoto lens. Tell us what your favorite lens is, or tell us any lenses that you'd like us to see us review. And make sure to follow us on all of our social links like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I actually posted a picture of this bad boy on Instagram yesterday, so make sure you go out there and check that out. We post a lot of pictures of stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. I'm Mike from MetroPhotog.com. We'll see you later.